Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, not even one of the most ferocious windstorms to ever grace the Pacific Northwest can keep Hollywood After Dark down. After several delays, we're back, we're online, and hopefully we're giving the middle finger to the fucking gods. Tonight we're going to be talking about Aquaman 2 test screenings. Does it suck? And a whole hell of a lot more, because it's Hollywood After Dark, folks. Anything goes, and I mean anything. So get your dicks, get your tits, get it all ready. Let's fucking go. Hey, what's going on, everybody? How you guys doing? Welcome to the party. Welcome to the show. I'm joined by my friend Saggy Melons.
Yo.
I'm just bringing you in, no rigmarole, just doing it because I'm like 20 some odd minutes late because I had a power outage.
Yeah, I was watching YouTube videos.
Yeah, no, like literally as I was walking to my office to like get going at like 10 p.m., the power just goes out. And I'm like, great. And then it comes right back on. But for some reason, the internet took like 20 minutes to get going again.
Dang.
So I'm like, all right. So I started watching The Running Man because I have to do a patio commentary on that. So I got like, 10 minutes into The Running Man. And then all of a sudden it's like back online. I'm like, okay, great, cool. We can continue the show. We can make it work because, this is the show must go on, Saggy, right? The show must always go on.
Yes.
That's how this works. So how are you? I hope things are well.
Yeah.
You're having a day. Right, it's okay. You're having a little bit of time, but here's what I want. I just want you to relax because this is Hollywood After Dark. It's a fun time, right? It's a fun time. It's all meant to be just fun and laughs and everything else. And you know what was a big hit with the audience last time, Saggy? You know what that is, right?
What?
You got to just go with it. You just got to do it. You just got to give it in, right? Get it twisted, right? Yeah, gotta get it twisted. No, we're not doing that. We're not doing that.
Aw.
I just want.
I was partially excited.
I narrowly escaped I think a copyright violation last time, so I can only play it for like a couple seconds at a time. Much like RJ sexual and only last a couple seconds.
Oof.
Sorry, wait. I'm talking about things that have actually happened. Anyway, it's been it's been a day. I was gonna go see Ant-Man and the Wasp today. I was gonna try to go see Ant-Man and the Wasp today. Didn't happen. Just didn't, timing never works out the way I want it to. I'm like, I want to go do this. My children are just like, go fuck yourself. Yeah. I mean, they're good kids. They're really good kids, but like they, like my daughter, my 3-year-old comes out today and she just goes like, I poop. And I'm like, oh crap. Cause she's like in that phase where she's like learning the bathroom stuff. Right. So I'm like, oh, okay. And then she just like pulls down her pants, right? Like everything, like it all comes down. And I'm like, cause she's unpredictable she's super unpredictable. You never know what she's going to do. Like, can I get up fast enough to grab her before she decides to like dive bomb my couch? Right. Cause if she's got the poop, it's like, oh man, that's just going to be a nightmare. Thankfully her diaper had just fallen off. That was it. But she somehow equated that to like, I got a poo. So I'm like, okay, at least we know she knows what like bathroom stuff is. So that's good. So that's the thing. So I ended up not being able to go and see Ant-Man and the Wasp, having to deal with the kid stuff. But I did decide today. So for everyone out there asking, I did decide that on Thursday, I have tickets to go see Cocaine Bear, which I'm very excited for Cocaine Bear. And I mean, clearly you've seen the trailer for Cocaine Bear.
I have.
Yeah, it looks fantastic. It looks amazing.
Looks interesting. Looks
good. The early reactions on it are very, very high, And so then it's only an hour and 35 minutes. So it's super short, right? Which means with previews, you're looking at about maybe 155 to 2 hours. Okay. Cool thing is it starts at 5 p.m. We'll be done 6:45, 6:50 p.m., whatever, right? There's a showing of Ant-Man at 7:05. So I'm just going to walk from one right to the other. Like that's what I'm doing on Thursday night. Double billing, gonna go see Cocaine Bear, then Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. I think that's a good like give daddy the evening to chill out and do his own thing kind of shit. I think that's a good time to do that. So
I agree.
that's my plans, because otherwise I'm never going to be able to get to the goddamn theater. And that's the they talk about all this shit, right? Like we have all these conversations time and time again about getting to the theater and the theatrical experience and all, like, and I'm like, look, it is easier just to watch it from home, right? I mean, I know you agree with me on that one.
Yeah, no, I do. I like watching things at home.
When curiosity, when is the last time you went to the movies? Like, do you remember the last time?
Nope.
It's been that long?
Yeah, I don't even remember the last movie I went to in theaters. Jeez.
Oh my
God. It's been
God.
that long. Yeah, it's been that long.
That's a long time.
Yeah.
That's a very, very, very long time to not go to the theater. Real quick though, I'm just checking out. We got just going through. There's a couple of supers that I missed right off the bat here. So we'll get to those right quick, because you guys, wow, HBars, definitely, thank you. $10, man, says wasn't here last night to address this, but stop coming at me over stupid fucking hashtag. I did not know. I didn't read it before. We won't go into the hashtag shit. So. All right, so H-Bars is voicing his opinion. Cool, we'll leave it at that. I'm sorry, Saggy. That was not intended.
I don't give a shit.
All right. I literally didn't read it. I just saw it and clicked on it because that's, I'm like, ooh, yellow. But look, I'll tell you, here's the way I view it is, thank you, H-Bars. Hashtags good, bad, or the other. They can serve their purpose. I think if you want to do something for fun, that's all good. Right. If you want to just like, it's like, one of the biggest problems with hashtags for us film fans here on, let's say, Twitter, is that we really only have like film Twitter, and even film Twitter is generally pretty shitty because it's full of a lot of those, I think a lot of them wear monocles in their free time. They all wear monocles and top hats and speak like this. Right there. And I'm going to get the caviar. I sit here in my ivory tower and review a movie. Nah. That's how I view film Twitter. Anyway. So, I mean, I would love it. Would you like there to be like, let me ask you this, because are you still paying for Twitter Blue?
Hell no. It's like $11 now.
Yeah, it's a lot. That's a lot. I hear it's like 11 on iOS, but like 8 on your computer, or because I know, did you see the Meta thing the other day? Facebook wants to start charging 11 for verification, or 15 if you're on your iOS device, because of that 30% upcharge that Apple tax, or that 30% fee that Apple tax on.
Yeah, no, I don't even. I actually deactivated Facebook today.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's a bold
I don't
move.
Really use it. I don't even use it. I mean,
that's how I talk to my family. Like, that's really about it. Like that's how, like, my friends in San Diego, like, I don't think a lot of them even have my new number from a couple years ago. So they've just got me on Facebook and stuff. And like, that's how, what it is now is because of how often I don't talk to them. Whenever one messages me now, I'm like, who died? Cause that's happened twice now.
Jeez.
And I'm just like, oof, but I'm like, and then they yell at me to like get back to San Diego more often. It's been a few years and shit. It's been almost 4 years now. I got to get down there, but it's hard. It's difficult when you got kids to like skip away for a couple days and head down to surf and turf in San Diego and shit. But I'm hoping to try to find a way to get down there this year at some point in time. My girlfriend's going on a vacation with her sister at some point during the summer, and I'm going to be with the kids for a little bit of time. So I'm going to pull that same card, be like, hey, I took them for, X amount of days. Your turn. And I'm a skedaddle, bitch. I'm out of here, motherfuckers. No, I'm kidding. But I would like to get down there. I do miss sunny Southern California. I keep wanting to like try to like build this podcast into a way that I can reach out to like those PR people at those companies and then have them go, yeah, do you want to come to the red carpet premiere of this big Hollywood movie? And then me like, yeah, I'm going to fly my ass to LA again just to go to a red carpet of a movie. That's because that's the kind of shit I would do. You know, just to kind of rub it in some people's faces, at least, just to be a little arrogant about it. Like, oh, you saw this movie with normie audience? Well, aren't you just not special? No, it's not like that. You know, but it's so stupid. Anyway, we got a couple other ones here from H Barts. Thank you again. Let's see, Okan. You have become what you hate. P.S. This is not attacking Gerbo. This isn't really. I mean, again, H Barts. I know what you're talking about. I really feel people out there just have different reasons for a lot of stuff. So there's that. But anyway, thank you for that one. And then there was another one I had seen that. Oh, okay. Here's one you might be able to answer, Saggy. And I want your honest to God opinion of this. Do you really think Eric D. July is into cuck porn?
How the hell would I know?
I think Eric D. July is into cuck porn. I really do. It's my opinion, because at this point in time, all of these guys that are just like, because you're pansexual. It's nothing to do with it's just because you love everybody, right? You're attracted to whatever, and you've been open about that. You're just like, yeah,
right.
Everything goes and shit, But so it's like, there's these guys, these Puritans. This is what I don't get. Right? You can watch movies and play video games and read books and comics and graphic novels and manga and anime all day, every day. People getting cut in half, eviscerated, blown apart, violently dismembered, all sorts of shit. That's A-okay. 100% fine. But you show 3 women making out and all of a sudden, whoa, we have a national crisis on our hands. That's the kind of crap I don't get about these puritanical people. They're just like all the time. They're just like, this is terrible. Won't someone please think of the children? Right. This is an adult-oriented comic. This is not one meant for your average, like 13-year-old kid is not going to sit there and read this shit. But the average 13-year-old kid might pick up an issue of The Walking Dead where we watch zombies literally dismember and disembowel people. But that's okay. It's just weird how our culture, it is our culture, just completely vilifies sex. Whereas it's like everything they have to do is just fucking ridiculous, how they attack it, how they approach it. So that's why I think, and a lot of these guys, when you press them, right, later on, like when their search history gets exposed and shit, right, you find out what they're into, what was it, the quartering that had like the cream pie, the double cream pie video or whatever it was? Did you hear about that?
God, no, I don't even follow that weirdo.
There was a thing with the quartering and like cream pieing, or it might have been Ralph and cream pieing. It might have been whatever. But like one of these like trad cath wannabe idiotic motherfuckers are just out there going like, their search history popped up and they're looking at like cream pie videos. I mean, like whatever floats your boat, right? Like whatever floats your boat. So that's why when asked the question, do I think that Eric D. July is into cuck porn? I do. I really do. I think if you look at his search history, just by evidence of all of these right wingers, these hard-lined right wingers that come out against sexuality in art, they've always got the deepest skeletons in their closet. The kind of shit, like I said last night, that can fill graveyards. That's where I feel we're at with this. Like, let me ask you, like, you cover like, you cover Andy Signor, right? The shit that he's into is weird and definitely wrong on a lot of levels because of the way he treats people. But like, don't you think in some way his particular search history would be pretty sus?
Probably.
I mean, yeah, you don't know for certain. But you just have an idea about that. You just have an idea about all of that crap. So there's that. But anyway, there we have it on that one there. All right. And then Garrick here for 5. Thank you very much. It says, do you think we're becoming more prudish as a society? For example, we don't see erotic thrillers anymore, like Basic Instinct or even Gone Girl. Would you call Gone Girl an erotic thriller? I mean, there was like 2 sex scenes in the movie and they were pretty brief. And in one of them, Neil Patrick Harris died. That was a cool scene. I don't know if I'd call Gone Girl erotic. But like you talk about Basic Instincts or 9.5 Weeks or Wild Things or what, Original Sin. I mean, there's a lot of those kind of movies that are out there. Yeah, we don't see many of those anymore. Like, did you ever watch any of those growing up? Because since you and I are kind of around the same age, did you ever catch any of those like in the '90s or anytime past that?
What is it, like Gone Girl?
No, not like Gone Girl, like the erotic thriller type movie. Like, okay, you remember, you know that the Ben Affleck movie, the Anna de Armas one that came out a year ago, that Deep Water movie?
Nope.
Okay, so that came to Hulu, right? It came to Hulu, and that movie is effectively what would be known as an erotic thriller. Like, you know, it's a highly sexualized story. It's that's the primary component of it is like sex and murder to some extent.
I don't think I was into that back then.
Well, I mean, like, yeah, it's just like that's kind of a thing that kind of did go away. So to Garrick's point about whether or not we're becoming more prudish, we kind of ebb and flow on that one, right? We do. We ebb and flow on that. You know, like you had your kind of like more free flowing 60s, right? You know, you had like the women's lib, the bra burning stuff, all that kind of shit. And the 70s were pretty wild love, man. But like still like the 60s were really what people talked about, like that kind of shit. Then you get into the 80s, and the 80s again was like more about, you know, self-expression on an outward level. Sexuality was definitely something that was becoming more mainstream, you know, in certain angles. The 90s kind of started to regress backwards a little bit. We had a lot of the PC culture that happened throughout the 90s. And then for some reason in the early 2000s, shit just started to shift. I don't really recall what it was directly because I don't have, you know, the exact answer. But one of the things I can't ever help but think about is Chappelle, right? I really do feel that like that first season, not even the first season, the first episode of the Chappelle Show was such a game changer in so many ways. It brought this new, what felt like a very new kind of comedy to TV. You know, like one where it felt like all bets were off. Anything goes. No subject is taboo. Nothing is off limits. You know, I mean, like, do you remember when Chappelle's Show first dropped the Clayton Bigsby bit?
Oh yeah.
Right? Like, how can you quote it by verbatim by memory?
Yes.
So can I. So can I. Right? And that shit is 20 years old this year.
I mean, the best one was the family one. So
You know, I'm just saying, you know, I
that
mean,
episode was wild.
but the thing with the thing with Chappelle Show at the time is like, so 2 years later, I was in film school and Chappelle Show had just come to an end, right? Like it was right, no, it was right around the time Chappelle was going to come to an end. Cause this is like right at the end of the season. And we're in one of my production classes and there's a mixture of diverse students in there. And we got on the subject of race, especially discussing race, especially discussing the term of how colloquial the N-word could be in some instances, you know, and again, way different than where things are today. But back then, this was an actual conversation that was being had in this control room. And, you know, one of the black students that was there, I forget his name, but he said, like, he goes, I feel I feel that Chappelle is kind of like normalizing a lot of language in a way that's like so mainstream it can't be ignored in how it's said. You know, like the whole Rick James, like, fuck yo couch, right? You know, like the jokes on that, like, you know, how he would always kind of casually, you know, look, you guys got to understand, 20 years ago when Chappelle was on the air, this shit was like fucking quoted by everybody. It was quoted. And, you know, people would take certain liberties with how far they would go with it. But again, it's like a lot of this stuff, the general sentiments were very much talked about, you know, like were quoted and everything else. So the comment I made was like, I think this is getting kind of more in the mainstream. Like it might actually start breaking down some barriers. And what this guy said is something I didn't think about at the time. I didn't really understand at the time, but I understand a lot more now that I'm older. Is he goes, well, let's go back further than Chappelle, right? Chappelle's right now, but what about Richard Pryor? What about Eddie Murphy? What about the way that those black comics really kind of broke down barriers in the 70s and 80s? And I'm like, that's a really good fucking point.
Yeah, because they did.
You know, like that's a really good point. Like they opened up the door to just everybody laughing at dumb shit. And it's like, you know, and the way that they made their jokes and the way that they made their humor, and they brought things in a way that felt like it was like, I don't want to say like acceptable, but it wasn't like, how do I say it? it was like kind of a turning point in regards to culture, it felt like. And then when Chappelle went away, I feel like comedy, didn't know what to do back in 2005 when he dipped out. Like we had South Park, we had other, Family Guy was coming back and shit the next year. Or no, Family Guy was canceled, but it was still really popular on Adult Swim and stuff back during that time. And I couldn't help but think to myself, like, like we were kind of in this weird, we weren't in the gross out phase of stuff yet necessarily. Like we were just kind of getting into like the hardcore gross out stuff that was still a couple years down the road. But in that 2005 to 2007 space, post Chappelle, things felt a little bit like, like they were kind of in a weird space. Like even going as far, like, do you remember when The Hangover opened? Did you ever go see that in theaters?
Did I see The Hangover in theaters? No, I think I wait. No, I didn't see it in theaters. I waited until it came to home rental.
Okay, so like I saw Hangover in theaters opening day, and I went and saw it again a couple days later with my friends, and we watched it at the drive-in a whole bunch. That movie just blew up, right? That movie blew up to the point of where even Hangover Part 2, which is largely just a remake of The Hangover, still pulled in like so much money. Warner Brothers was talking about Hangover 4, like, because they had greenlit Hangover 2 and Hangover 3. They were already talking about Hangover 4, just because of how popular this franchise was by its second outing. And again, just the way that Todd Phillips handled the comedy, like it was gross out humor, but it felt different. It felt like there was something, I don't want to say deeper, but something maybe more poignant about it, or the way that it was shot, the way that it felt was different. And I think like, and then we went kind of to a time period after that where like you had like the Seth Rogen type comedy, the Judd Apatow's, that came out in 2005 with the 40-Year-Old Virgin, which was, I should say that also came out around the same time as Chappelle, right? So those are both kind of dropping at the same time. Then you had 2007's Knocked Up. Knocked Up is not bad, but it's nowhere near as good as the 40-Year-Old Virgin, And then you had the follow-up one after that, 2009, Funny People, with Adam Sandler and Seth Rogen, and it was like a drama. It wasn't very good. But it's like comedy just kind of went through this weird space around that time, I think. And when on the subject of prudishness coming up, like when it comes to nudity and sex, we've started to definitely kind of scale back a little bit. The Penn Badgley, the guy in You, has come out and been like, hey, listen, I got married. I want to start scaling back the sex scenes for the show. And people are pissed, right? Have you heard about that, Saggy?
No, I haven't watched You.
I mean, I haven't seen You either, but like I knew it was like, again, that's kind of an erotic thing. I think like he's like a stalker, I don't know. That's like the vibe I got from the first season. Right. But there's a lot of eroticism in the show. Like, and then the main guy, it'd be like if Dexter all of a sudden was like, I don't want to kill anyone anymore. Like, well, what the fuck's the show about then? What are you gonna do? Like, are you gonna like
forensics guy?
Yeah, yeah, right, yeah. He's just like, yeah, no, now Dexter has officially become CSI Miami. Actually, I'd probably watch that, to be fair. But anyway, it's a long conversation. There's a lot going on with that kind of stuff. I just find it to be very fascinating to look back, 15, 20 years ago, where we are, where things have gone. And then, of course, to ask the question, where do you think we're going to be in 15 to 20 years? Like as my kids get into their their young adult lives, the shit that, that we find funny now, or we found funny when we were 20, are they going to find it funny? Right? Like that ends up being a big question. That ends up being a big thing, because, I look at like stuff like this Hogwarts Legacy situation, and like how people are like fervently just losing their shit over a fucking video game because they want to feel superior, morally superior to other people, to calling out other people. It has nothing to do with the game, right? It has nothing to do with the game. Like the game is whatever, but they've just chosen to like, turn it into their culture war. Like, it's ridiculous. But like, how bad is it going to get? But then I think back to how things were in the 90s. and how people, again, politically correct was a big thing back then. You can't say this, you can't say that, you can't do this, you can't do that. And then what happened is it got to a boiling point with the end of the century. And then people started laughing again, certain comedy, again, Chappelle, other things came out, kind of did that. And then you get into like how things kind of swung far all the way back the other way. Go look at Twitter 2011 through 2010 through 2014. Right? Remember how crazy Twitter was back then. And all the offensive, racist, gross out shit you could think of was basically okay. You could say it all and like no one really cared. But then people started getting this weird like moral, I don't know, aptitude about everything, or this moral hang up over everything, and started like, you know, pushing back against that. So again, we're starting to see that pendulum come, and I think it's quicker now, Saggy. I think it's quicker for how it's going to swing back to going back to like the full raunch. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, do you have any thoughts on that yourself, or?
No, I agree with everything you said. Couldn't say it better myself.
Okay. Well, I do appreciate that. Thank you. So that's she's my sign off, guys. She's my sign off. Anyway, and then H Bar's also for 2. Thank you, buddy. Says all chuds are Larry Craig. Okay. Do you know who Larry Craig is?
Sounds familiar.
I don't know who Larry Craig is. I'm sorry. I wish I did. I wish I did. I don't know who that is. There's a free member super chat. Hold on, let me find that. H Parts here for free matinee member for 20 months, man. Thank you. Says Hannah Gadsby is the greatest comedian. Have you ever heard Hannah Gadsby?
I have. She's awful.
She's terrible. It's not funny. Like, I can understand, like, if you're like a lot of comedies telling stories, right? And I think I think if someone has an Australian accent, they can be funnier. You know, I really do. I think like to a lot of Western audiences, British, Australian, New Zealand, you can kind of use it to your advantage if you're trying to tell stories, because the enunciations are slightly different, the inflections are slightly different, and you can kind of play upon that idea. But I've listened to Hannah Gadsby, and you know, I'm like, where's the joke? Where's the humor in this? Like, I mean, is it dry? It's not dry. It's just terrible. Like, it's just terrible humor. So,
no,
yeah.
she's just very unfunny.
Yeah.
Her jokes are very like too safe for my taste.
Yeah. I mean, well, there's that, but didn't she have a whole bit about like, she was like talking like, and I'm not trying to make light of this, by the way, like she's talking about her sexual assault, I think, in one of her bits, but like it's not played up as a joke, nor should it be. But it's like, there's always got to be a punchline, you know, but it also really depends, I think, on whether or not the audience is compelled by the performance. You know what I mean? So like, for example, I loved Saturday Night Comic-Con. Whenever I would go, that's always when Kevin Smith would perform, right? After like the Marvel panel in Hall H at the end of the day on Saturday, Kevin Smith would be up there and he would do about a 2-hour Q&A. Well, there was one year, this is, I forget what year it was, 4 or 5 years ago, maybe 5, 6 years, maybe. He gets up there and one guy asks him a question, just one question. And he goes on literally a 2-hour non-stop conversation with himself. 2 hours. One question. But what it is he had a bit, he had a performance he wanted to do. Because he'd been taking comedy classes, I think. So he had a performance he wanted to put out there. And so the very first question got asked, and then he just rolled right into the monologue. But here's the thing with that. It was still pretty funny. You know, it was still pretty interesting. It was engaging. It kept you interested. And that's something that in many instances, I don't think Hannah Gadsby or even many others can even really kind of get out of there. We got Mo Moon, who's been an IMAX member, 17 months with a free super chat. Thank you. Says the moral never ended. It still rages on. Oh yeah, I know the moral police always out there doing the moral stuff. All right. Let me catch up here. Sorry guys. There's supers, and we're going to get into the to the other stuff here in a second as well. So Jess here for 5, thank you, says if Hogwarts Legacy hold on. If the Hogwarts Legacy results in some streamer offing themselves for being bullied about playing the game, I will never forgive the left white knights. Well, there was a VTuber that just like got it. Did you hear about this? I think Tipster covered this, right? Did you see that?
I saw it. I covered it a little bit too. Somebody brought it to my attention. Yeah, it was really sad to see that she just got like attacked the way she did.
Did you retweet it at all?
No, I did not retweet it. I was doing a live stream, and I remember somebody brought it to my attention live, and I watched Asma Gold covering it.
Okay. Yeah, he's I'm trying to see here because Tipster. By the way, did you see Tipster's trending?
Tipster, for the record, Tipster's name is always trending, but not because it's attached to actually Tipster. It's weird.
And yeah, I know. I looked it up. It's just a lot of people are actually talking about Tipster.
Yeah,
so,
I know. I saw.
Like something about like, so he's just, I don't even really know. He's just pissed off a lot of people.
Don't we all?
Which is the thing. Both you, and I do quite well. Oh, by the way, according to Vito, the Games Done Quick speedrunning charity event has banned all Harry Potter games from being played.
Who?
It's the Games Done Quick. It's a speedrunning, it's a speedrunning event.
Oh.
And they raise money for charity, and they have now banned all Harry Potter games.
Well, damn.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. That's a thing. Okay, yeah, here we go. I'll bring this one up here. So this is from Legacy Killer HD, who is definitely he covers a lot of this stuff. Let me see if I can find this here. Okay. So it's only a minute long clip, but this is the VTuber talking about what's been going on with all of that. So
and harassment and doxing and people doxing my friends and like so much horrible, vile things, all from streaming a fucking video game. It's just insane. Like, hate breeds hate, and it doesn't help anyone. And I don't know, I got to the point where I was sick of seeing hatred all over and guilt tripping on random art tweets. It's literally like they gang up on so many random tweets about Valentine's Day or art or automated posts. Like they wanna post so much negativity everywhere, and I just got sick of it. So I block people because I just wanted breathing room.
yeah, I mean, like the shit over this fucking game is insane. It's just insane, right?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
So, but again, this is only like the tip of the iceberg when it comes to this kind of crap. By the way, H bars for 5, thank you. Says Larry Craig was the anti-gay senator who got caught getting a blowjob by a guy. Okay, because that happens pretty frequently too, right? So there you go on that one. Thank you very much, Larry. Yeah, we start calling him Larry Craigs. Now we got to think of a way to make it interesting to call them Larry Craigs, but that's going to be nuts. All right. Rational here says Games Done Quick has been SJW for a good 8 years now. They've done some shit, right? They've done some shit there. Like, here's the thing. Last saying one I have seen proof. You can look it up, man. Like, there's a fair amount of like the shit people say and stuff on social media. Right. And then Rational here says, remember Steve Shives says, fuck the people who get bullied for streaming Harry Potter. That's true. Steve Shives did say that, I mean, it's so funny. And the thing is, like, I hate it when either side does it. I hate it when either side goes, that harassment and all that intimidation, all that crap's okay. It's never okay. It's all bullshit. Never fucking okay. So, by the way, guys, we are now at 100 live viewers. Thank you all so much. Let me check the current like status. I'm gonna fucking pimp this like a mofo. We got 29 likes. Come on, guys, let's get it to at least 50. We need only 21 more. 21, folks. The age I was 20 years ago. God damn, I'm getting old. I'm getting old, Saggy. I feel it. I feel it in my knees. Feel it in my opinions. I feel like
I don't know. Opinions have aged.
I don't fucking know.
Okay.
I don't know.
A weird one.
Is there like, well, they say that people get more conservative with age. I think I've gotten more progressive with age, but then I just want to joke and be like, so what's the age where like I have to start registering as a Republican? Like, when's that supposed to happen? Because that's not happening at all. But let's see. Zap here says, Review Tech USA dunks on Jeremy so well. Definitely talking about Jeremy being the quartering. He does. Yeah. Yeah, he does.
They hate each other.
They do. Well, I mean, like, I get it. Like, the quartering sucks. Like, he just sucks. You know? A lot of these guys are just, again, as I said this the other day, and I'll just reiterate it one more time. One of the biggest problems with all of this online shit, Saggy, all of it, is that, like, a lot of it is just fucking kayfabe. You know? Not everybody, but, like, a lot of these people who get to these very prominent positions, like, they just, all they do is they just, like, they say one thing, but you know they don't fucking believe it. Right? Do you really think Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers believes all the shit that he fucking says? Hell no. Hell no. Ryan Kennel, I think, kind of does. Gary, I think, is a half and halfer, but I don't think Jeremy actually does. Like, Jeremy is more along for the ride than anything else, in my opinion.
I think he believes in a fair amount of things, but I think he also, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, does exaggerations for audience.
Yeah. No, well, that's the other part of it as well. That's part of it too. Is that's part of the kayfabe is like making it entertaining for the audience, right? Because it's like, you know, there's the whole thing from Gladiator. Are you not entertained? Right? Like, yeah, you got to make it interesting. You got to make it engaging. I 100% get that. But it's like, at what point do you start to sacrifice your own fucking morals and your own sensibilities in order to chase that? Because the more entertaining you make something, the more it ends up having to drive you towards that specific angle because that's what the audience reacts to. Like, okay, like it's kind of unrelated, but like, you know, look at Ethan Ralph, right? Look at Ethan Ralph. You know,
I'd rather not. I
would rather not either. He looks like fucking Artie Lang right before the nasal collapse.
You look at him and you get diabetes.
And I have diabetes, but I have type 2. I don't want type 1.
So you looked at him. That's what happened.
I touched the gunt, you know, I was diagnosed with diabetes not long after the whole incident on the kill stream. Maybe that's what caused it.
Yeah, I think it was.
Maybe that's what caused my diabetes. Damn you, Ethan Ralph, not my unhealthy eating. All right. Anyway, you know, well, the two could go hand in hand if you argue depression.
Mm-hmm. That's true. That's very true too.
Anyway, but I mean, you look at someone like Ralph, and this kind of speaks into the whole entertainment space because he does, you know, he is like, as far as train wrecks go, car crashes, natural disasters being some kind of voyeuristic / entertaining thing to watch, he definitely falls into that category at this point. It is so bad. Like, it's so bad to the point where, like, even today, like his power got turned off because they didn't pay the bill by like on the day it was due, and it cut off his stream, and he was upset. So I made a crack about Uber Eats and whatnot, and that tweet blew up with a lot of people who fucking hate his ass. But that's part of it too, is like he has to then double down and double down and double down on all the shit that he says and all the shit that he does, because that's the only way to maintain the audience that he has lost. You know what I mean? Like the people that he's got right now are the diehards, but like the average people, they're gone. You know, they don't want to watch that train wreck. And it's kind of like what happened to me back in 2018. Up to that point, man, I was like having to fucking, you know, always go after drama, always go after a lot of this other shit that I tell you, I wasn't really caring about. And to me, that was eating me up inside. And like, you know, certain bits of drama on things I do care about, I'm okay with. Like, you know, stuff we were looking at last night in regards to a certain person's live stream.
I wasn't here last night.
No, well, I'm talking about Zod. Like his whole
Oh.
James Gunn's a plant type thing and all the other nonsense that's going on with that. And it's just like, but that's also the kind of guy who, when we talk about like this like kayfabe / true believer, he's a person I think is an actual true believer. That's the difference. Like you get people like Sil. Sil doesn't believe. He knows he's full of shit, right? He knows he's full of shit. He's selling a narrative. But the people, it's like a fucking multi-level marketing company is I think a good way to look at it, right? So you got Sil, your top guy, and then you got the capos, the lieutenants underneath, and they kind of sell it to everybody else. He doesn't believe shit, but they're the true fucking believers. But he backs them up, so they think that he believes, which only then further enforces their own belief. Then you get Mikey coming on and doing the same kind of bullshit. And that ends up being a very terrible thing for someone like Zod, who I think's mental health is very much at a turning point. You know, and we were listening to Sil did that space earlier. We were talking about that a little bit ago and how he was just doubling down on bullshit.
What else is new? That's literally what that group does. But hey, it works for them. They get all that attention, so they're going to keep doing it.
I guess so. Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. You're absolutely right. I hate to say it. Now, well, not on that front. No, because you have a lot of good takes. You know, if you guys don't check out, I don't say about this very often. If you guys don't watch Saggy, you should check out Saggy.
Or
She
don't.
puts what?
I said, or don't.
Well, fuck off. I'm trying to shut the fuck. I'm trying to fucking like promote you.
Oh, is that what's happening?
Yeah.
Me out? You're my pimp now?
I don't get a cut of emotional pimp, maybe? If you're my friend, if you're happy, I'm happy. Right?
So is that what an emotional pimp is?
I mean, it's kind of like that, isn't it? You know, like it's like that's the thing. It's like your success just as my friend means I feel, I'm happy for your success.
All right, I like that.
It is kind of like emotional pimping, I guess so. Yeah, it's all like, man, I helped you, so I feel good.
Yeah, because you don't do things for people because you expect things in return. It just makes you happy.
Yeah, I don't expect anything in return. No, but you guys check out Saggy stuff. She's pretty good.
I have my moments.
Actually, I'll put it to you like this. If you hate Andy Signore, there's no other person on this fucking platform that has literally held his chestnuts to an open fire more than her.
Oh, he's not doing so hot lately, by the way.
What's going on? I haven't even paid attention, to be honest with you.
He's covering another dead person stuff, and the family now got involved. Not too happy with him. Apparently, he got shook because a lot of his community, his fan base, is pissed at him. I love it. I love every bit of it.
Well, there you go. I mean, eventually, I think that happens to a lot of people. It all depends on how you approach it, right? Like I've learned the things to not do, and then also I still probably make those mistakes all the fucking time. But really, it's just like, look, man, like I talk to you guys here like I talk to anybody. That's how I keep it real and shit. But it's like, and the thing is like, I just want to have a good time, have a fun conversation. Like it's not trying to push an agenda or like, pull out t-shirts and nothing like that. That's where I get a little bit sus with that shit. Especially when you're like, when it's a hyper fucking, like on the Andy thing, like Britney Spears and shit. Like that bothered me. Like he doesn't fucking care about Britney Spears. He doesn't give a shit about Johnny Depp.
Anyone.
No, he doesn't give a fuck about any of that shit. He just cares about doing his own thing and like getting that cheddar. I'm honestly surprised at this point Andy hasn't written a fucking book.
Oh, that's coming soon, I bet.
Yeah.
Apparently, his little streaming partner too. They made it official. They made the big announcement that she officially works and is getting paid. She's an employee of Popcorn Planet.
Oh, Steph?
Oh yeah.
Oh, all right then.
And then he made a joke about how that they were together and getting married, and I was like, I guarantee you that shit was not a joke.
Yeah, probably. I think it's crazy. Zachary here says, also Ryan Kindle has a look in his eyes that tells you everything that you need to know about that asshole. I mean, well, his eyes kind of are like really beady, so it's kind of hard to get a good look at that sometimes, but I kind of get what you're saying. But all right, there really wasn't a lot of movie news today, to be fair. Today was kind of a slower day, but we did get that big one about Aquaman. We could talk about that 45 minutes into the show. So we talk about the Aquaman stuff here. Have you hear about this? Aquaman 2 gets worrying news from test screenings.
I did.
It's kind of, it's a little bit not good. a little bit not. I'm a little. Well, what I don't get about this, to be 100% honest with you, is when I look at like James Wan and his movies. You know, like Saw 1, Saw 2, Insidious 2. Like he's only done one sequel. He doesn't go further into the franchise. But like none of his movies are ever like really bad, you know? Like I thought Saw 2 was actually a really big thing on I thought it was an improvement on the first one quite a bit. So,
I don't do scary movies. That's why I'm not saying.
You gotta, man, you're missing out.
I don't do.
You're missing out, Saggy. Lots of good scary movies out there. Wait, Mo here says I would date Steph. Is that wrong? Yes. Yes.
No, because she'll cover up all. If you do bad things, she'll cover it up. So definitely go for her. She's one of those chicks.
I'm a pit bull, right? I'm a pit bull.
Yep.
Yeah, I know. More like a Yorkshire Terrier. Anyway, that James guy here says either test screenings are really good or really bad. That is kind of about it. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if this is true. Something happened. If that's true,
I mean, a lot of people are saying it, and it's kind of like the thing is though, who knows at this point, right? Like, so here's what we know. So test screenings have been a mixed bag for DC movies lately. Dwayne Johnson's Black Adam performed poorly during its round of previews, resulting in a dismal outing at the box office. No, I just think people just didn't care about Black Adam. Anyway, however, other DC films like Blue Beetle and The Flash received positive reviews from their respective test screenings, with the latter reportedly being extraordinarily well received. However, it seems that Aquaman 2 is currently in the same boat as Black Adam. So I've been kind of thinking about this extraordinarily well received, comment on The Flash, right? You ever I'm trying to think of like the saying, if you repeat something enough times, people will believe it.
Yeah.
And I kind of wonder if that's what they're doing with The Flash. I love the trailer. Okay, I did. I can't wait to see the movie. But we've been hearing this now for well over a year. The movie is great. The movie is amazing. The movie is phenomenal. We've been hearing this for over a year, but they've still continuously done reshoots or pickup shots or things like that. And now that James Gunn and Peter Safran are in control, they're clearly going to be retooling a couple things in order to reset the universe for the new DCU. So it's like, well, I mean, to kind of reset things for the new DCU, that's going to require a pretty significant change, which may not be well received by the audience. So, and if these particular test screenings have been happening before this perspective change, which I said, we've been hearing about this now for over a year, I'm really kind of curious about everything. It's like, did you ever hear the whole thing before Batman v Superman came out, that it got like a standing ovation at a test screening? Did you ever hear about that one?
For which one?
For Batman v Superman.
Mm-mm.
Like a month before it came out in theaters, or about a month and a half beforehand, there was a report going around talking about that. And then you see the movie and you're all like, who applauded for this mess? Right. But then again, if you watch the Ultimate, you're like, I can see why people would applaud at the end of this. It's a great movie. So there's all this weird kind of misdirection with the way the media operates. But anyway, it says here, Aquaman 2 receives disappointing test screen update. Insider viewer Anon, who I do give credit to, I do definitely give credit to, described the consensus of Aquaman 2 to be boring, not as good as the first, and potentially one of the worst DCEU films. Now that's definitely saying something right there, right? What is that? I mean, for one, that's kind of all over the place. It's boring, not as good as the first, and potentially one of the worst DCEU movies. I don't understand. That's such a weird kind of mishmash of words. Because I look at it okay, boring. All right. So they could definitely use an action scene or two more. Not as good as the first, could basically follow in line with that as well. But then potentially one of the worst is just kind of a very weird thing. Anyway, he says here, I'll be honest, we're a half dozen test screenings in and it's not looking great. I've consistently heard over the last half year or so that it's boring, not as good as the first, and potentially one of the worst. Big Screen Leaks, who is another, this is a verified account, by the way, on YouTube, not Twitter Blue verified, actual verified before Elon. corroborated the report, saying Aquaman 2 and Aquaman and Lost Kingdom test screenings have not been good. Saying here, it brings me no joy to back him up, and I'll tell you that test screenings for this film have not been good. Really hoping Juan fixes this movie before December, and then saying this is something that has almost never happened in test screenings, indicating how bad the performance is, saying I heard that something almost never happened. They're going to need to fix this one and fix it fast. And then Viewer Non does also say that James Wan had a rough time with the sequel, saying this is one of the bad things about being a scooper. I don't want to shit on the movies, but at a certain point, when people know there have been a lot of test screenings, our silence becomes pretty telling. I like Juan. I know he's had a rough time on this one. I hope it works out. So then the question becomes, well, what about it is exactly the problem? Is it the Keaton aspect or the Batman aspect? Because we know that they shot something with Keaton. We know that they shot something with Ben. Is it that? Is it Amber Heard? Is it that whole situation? You know, was like the initial, I don't know what the story is. I mean, RJ will tell you some stuff that's come out. I have no freaking idea how true it is or not. I don't pay attention to that kind of shit. No, not digging on RJ or nothing, but it's just, you know, I'm saying it's like, you know, the stuff comes out from different places around the web and I just honestly don't look. So I don't know. But the Amber Heard thing is something that a lot of people are going to be bringing up a point over, because like that's kind of curious. Like, oh, okay, well, the Amber Heard situation is definitely one that is interesting, because what exactly are they going to do with that? Like, is that going to impact the box office at all? I mean, Johnny Depp, as in regards to just like public relations and like just general, like how the public viewed him coming off of that trial, he was fucking shit and gold. You know, like not a lot of people are out there in like the pro Amber Heard camp. In fact, they've been pretty fucking quiet for a while now. Really? I haven't heard anything out of the pro Amber Heard camp for a bit.
Oh, they still are very active. I only know that because after I exposed Andy, a lot of the Amber Heard people picked it up and were being very supportive.
Oh, well, that's good. You know, hey, listen, if you can wield that army to do one thing good, it's attack Andy Signor. How about that? Criticize. We'll say criticize. Because the last thing we want is that fucking guy to go, I'm really shocked, as his jowls flap back and forth while sucking down a Popeye's chicken sandwich.
Popeyes. Just the way you said that was funny.
Popeyes. But I don't know. I mean, like, it could be the Amber Heard thing. That's entirely something here. Now, the Entertainment Scooper also pointed out that the sequel's poor testing has nothing to do with Amber Heard's Mara, since she's not in the film that month. Heard has been in the mixed controversy, since we know about that one. Now, Jeff Snyder also says that he heard that the Aquaman 2's test screenings were terrible. So the further into this that we get, when we start hearing from a multitude of different people about what they're hearing, I mean, it does add a little bit of fuel to that particular fire. It does make it a little bit on the interesting side, because you have to really ask yourself, like, how bad is this thing coming together? And that's what I don't fucking understand. Like, legitimately, like, I just legitimately don't understand. How do you, and I mean you as James Wan, who is like a very storied filmmaker, you know what I mean? Like, has $2 billion movies and 2 different franchises. That's rare, you know? Has any other director outside of James Cameron been able to claim that? You know? So what I mean by that is, like, James Cameron, you know, did fucking Titanic and he did Avatar. Both of those $1 billion, right? $2 billion or whatever. So in two different non-competing franchises, or I guess whatever. Okay. But like the Russo bros, you know, doing the Marvel movies, that's all they've got. J.J. Abrams did Star Wars, The Force Awakens. I mean, like, you know, like Star Trek didn't get that high, you know, and then, I mean, sure, he's done like other, I think, you know, I don't know what else you might want to like chalk it up to, but it's like, again, James Wan has got Fast and Furious 7, which was the first Fast and Furious movie to cross $1 billion in 2015. And it was an excellent movie. And then he followed that up 2018 with Aquaman, another movie to pull in $1 billion. So he had 2 back-to-back $1 billion hits across 2 different studios and 2 different franchises. So it's like, what's going on here? You know? I don't even know. According to Fandom NSL's here, My Time to Shine Hello said people apparently walked out of the test screening.
Yeah, that's what the article said that I read said. I think it's gonna you were getting to that, but yeah,
Okay.
that's the thing that the person said. Something happened that never has ever happened before, and I was like, Jesus, how bad was the movie where you walk out of a damn test screening? Not even just theater, a test screening.
I mean, like I've sat through terrible completed movies. I don't walk out of nothing. I'll sit through to the end unless it's so, like even Aquaman. I'd be like, look, it's Aquaman. Like I love Jason Momoa in general, so I'm just gonna watch this movie. I like Patrick Wilson. Yahya Abdul Mateen is great. I mean, you know what? Like, listen, I know Amber Heard's a horrible person, but I look at her and I think funny thoughts. Okay, so I can't deny it. She's way too attractive. It sucks. I'm a horrible person. H Press for 5 here. Thank you. Says, can't wait till these films are under gun so he can put them in better direction instead of every director doing their own story. That was actually one of the bigger problems with the way that the previous regime did kind of handle things, which is this. It is true. They gave out whatever, Matt Reeves, Todd Phillips, fucking, Dwayne The Rock Johnson. I mean, like James Gunn. I mean, they gave away the different parts of the DCEU to different people without ever really connecting them, without ever finding a way to connect them. And I really do think that a lot of that had to do with them leading towards the Crisis storyline. But now it appears that they're going a completely different direction. Justin Lin did. I don't think Justin Lin has directed a $1 billion movie yet. I don't think he has. So anyway, she is bug-eyed. She's not attractive. She's attractive. Amber Heard's attractive. Amber Heard's attractive.
I mean, she is pretty, but she's also poops on beds and stuff, so she's not.
Well, it lowers it, right? It's like it's kind of like is it okay? Let me ask you this: are there any actors or actresses that you think are just so stunningly beautiful, like you have trouble looking at them?
Not that I can think of.
I have 2: Elizabeth Olsen and Margot Robbie. It's so like they're so like something about them to me, like absolutely makes it to where it's like it's difficult to like sometimes look at them because like they're just that attractive. It's weird. I can't explain it. It's weird. I cannot for the life of me explain it. But there's just times where I'm like, I can't even look. I can't even look. They're too hot. They're just too hot. I can't do it. I don't get it. It's weird. Even when I lived in LA, like, maybe it's because I've been away from LA for so long. It's just like because, when you're in LA, it's like, you can't throw a penny without hitting like an attractive woman or person. But when you leave LA, it's not like that. You start seeing the real people. Anyway, Jalen here says, yes, Matt, yes. I'm just saying, Amy Adams is also one, yeah. Alexandra Daddario, very true. Does Gerbo have a thing for redheads? I always have.
A lot of guys do.
Always have.
They're like, it's like they're unicorns.
Yeah. I dated a redhead back when I was a teenager, and that was a very unique and interesting situation. Because she was crazy. Maybe I just have a thing for crazy redheads. I dated a stripper once, guys. Believe me, I've dated crazy. So, yeah. Cautionary tale, right? Cautionary tale. Let's see here. I heard your thoughts on Anne Hathaway in that 4-hour stream. I was talking about like one shot in The Dark Knight Rises. All right. One shot. It's a good shot. It's a very well composed shot. Anyway, redheads like Carrot Top. Carrot Top just no. Have you seen Carrot Top recently? Dude looks like he has roided out. He looks like a human version of Tom or Jerry, whatever the mouse is from Tom and Jerry. I don't know why. That's the vibe I get. So yeah, I don't know. All right. Eric here says, you dated a stripper sounds like a T-Pain song. Yeah. 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 No, it wasn't a T-Pain song. It was like imagine more like Kid Rock in his meth days. So it's, like today. Blessing here says, so he ran for governor, dated a stripper, and bribed a homeless man. The life of Matt Gerbo. I've done a lot, sir. Actually, last night, this is funny. I was talking. This is 100% true, right? So I'm out doing delivery driving, and I'm driving towards the store because I was basically done for the night, and I watched this car turn towards going my direction, right? So he turns into the median, and doesn't slow down, doesn't stop, doesn't slow down, and just veers right into traffic, like almost sideswipes my car. Dude was not paying attention. Good thing I was. I get around him and whatnot, and I'm pissed. I'm fucking furious because I just can't, I understand sometimes there's mistakes, but this guy wasn't even paying attention. He didn't slow down. You could tell he wasn't looking. I looked at him when I went past him. The guy didn't even know I was fucking there. He was completely oblivious. So I'm like, all right, whatever. And I pulled into the grocery store, and I notice he follows me into the parking lot. And so I'm like, oh shit, I'm wondering to myself, is this guy, is he mad at me or whatever? Whatever. So he parks on the far side of the parking lot away from where I parked, but I saw his car, and I see him walk into the store, and I go, and he goes in before I do, because I took a couple of minutes to just kind of calm down a little bit, because I was really pissed. And I go into the store, and I walk right past him, and I see him, and I stop, and I walk back over, and I just go, hey man, you almost fucking hit me with your car. What the fuck? I just kind of went off on this guy for a second. I'm like, you almost sideswiped my car. He's like, I didn't do that. I'm like, yeah, you did. You drive a little green car, right? You pulled off a fucking, whatever road it was, I forget, right? You pulled off, you didn't even, I just went in, I laid into this guy. Not in a fucking super mean way or nothing, but just in a way of hey, asshole, fucking learn to drive and shit. I don't know. I was just in a mood last night, but just people like that don't, I mean, you're Boston. You fucking know road rage, right?
Oh yeah, I have a lot of road rage. I got it from my mom.
I get it from my mom too. My mom's the sweetest woman. My mom never raises her voice. She never gets mad. Till she drives. And then it's she gets pissed off and she's fuck, she gets real bad road rage. And that's where I get it from as well. I get it too. It's just and then I wonder if I've ever cut anybody off, and I try to quell it a little bit. But yeah, I was pissed off last night at this guy because he just wasn't paying attention. He just wasn't paying attention. If he would have hit my car and taken my car out, that's my fucking job, dude. That's my fucking gig. I have to get new car seats because they get damaged and you have to go and get new car seats, right? So it's a whole fucking thing just because the guy, and then here's the thing, the guy was a stoner. You could tell the guy was stoned. And I'm like, look, I'm pro weed, I'm pro pot, fucking smoke all you want, right? But it's don't fucking smoke and then get behind the wheel of a car, you idiot.
That happened to me once, but by accident.
Yeah.
When I drove while stoned. Because once upon a time, somebody that I resided with was experimenting with cannabis butter, and had cooked some food with said cannabis butter, and I ate said food not knowing there is cannabis butter in it, or cooked with cannabis butter. And then I went to go for a drive, and mid-drive, I was like, wow, why the fuck do I feel so tired all of a sudden? Yeah, I mean, I was fine, but yeah, I unintentionally got high and drove. I didn't even know. I was like, man, edibles hit you hard, man.
Yeah, they do. They definitely, because because with weed, it you can you smoke it. It's instantaneous reaction. Edibles creep up on you like a fucking drive-by. But here's the thing: is Ralph Double Tits here says Gerbo also had a gang of child thieves steal Pokemon cards for him with payment of Cracker Jacks. That is actually true. Not as bad as he's making it out to be. I mean, well, I should say in the moment I didn't really realize it, but there were kids in my neighborhood back in the 90s. In Portland that would trade me Pokemon cards for boxes of Cracker Jacks. I later on, I think that I realized that they were stealing the cards because they had fresh supplies, guys. They had fresh supplies, but I was able to trade for a holographic Charizard. So I feel I was okay with it. I don't know. That was a long time ago. I wonder what happened to those guys. Hopefully they didn't do anything bad. Hopefully, I have no idea, but yeah. It was funny though. You talk about driving while stoned. That happened to me once while I was 16. I snuck out and I took the car, without telling my parents because they were asleep. And I went to my buddy's friend's place, and they were all hotboxing an apartment, and the room in the apartment. And I didn't really realize that when I got there. I'd never been in a hotbox situation before. So I hang out for like 45 minutes, and I'm smoking cigarettes in there and shit. And you know how it is when you get high and you smoke weed or smoke cigarettes, right? It just kind of kicks it off and shit. I felt fine. I remember leaving the apartment, walking down to the car, getting in the car, starting to drive home. And then the next thing I remember, I'm parked along the side of a road, and I'm 45 minutes away from my house. I mean, like, I'm talking, it's like a rural road, farmland type shit. And I'm pulled over, and I'm just like, how the fuck did I get here? What is happening? I have no idea. And that's just like, that's how it goes. Sometimes you're just like, holy shit. So yeah, I don't imbibe and drive, I don't do none of that shit. Cause it's just dangerous stuff, right? Matt's bad fur day. Yeah. It's like Conquer. There we go. Have I watched the latest Last of Us episode? I haven't watched episodes 5 or 6 yet. Every time I sit down to try to watch it before going to bed, one of my kids is all like, can I come hang out with you? And I'm like, yeah, well, you can. And I can't watch The Last of Us because that's going to scare you. I showed my daughter, my 5-year-old, an AI photo I had made. I was trying to do like realistic Ninja Turtles. I don't know why. I was just messing around with it. And I showed her that, and she literally went, ah! Like she screamed. It scared her. Like Raphael scared her. And I'm like, no, it's a. But then I showed her the zombie puppet one because she saw that in my catalog as well. And she's like, oh, that's cute. My kid's weird. Yeah, it doesn't look real. Is today Columbo Day? No, it's not Columbo Day. Jalen going to bed. Thanks for coming in, Jalen. Really appreciate that. Yeah, tonight, I mean, we're probably going to be on like maybe like another like 15 minutes or so. So it's, it's still, it's a school night.
That it is.
It is. It's always a school night. Evil Charpo. Yeah, whatever, man, whatever. Jesus. So, Saggy, let me ask you this then. What is it you hope for 2023 in regards to entertainment? Is there anything out there you are just super excited for?
I'm excited for it to crash and burn.
You want to crash and burn. An interesting take. What is there anything you specifically want to see crash and burn, or is it just the whole system, burn it down, burn it
all down, destroy entertainment so everyone can stop fighting over stupid shit?
That is, what?
Go back to arguing over books.
Going arguing over books? Yeah, man. Like, fuck the Book of Revelations, dude. That shit's fucking stupid.
Exactly.
I prefer the Book of Job.
Exactly. We need to go back to reading books, people. Get some people back in the libraries to learn how business operates, and no, you can't sue friggin' a company for not casting your favorite superhero. Your favorite actor.
Can I play that clip? Should I play that clip? Because that is funny.
I heard that and I was like, I don't know where people I used to associate with fell off, but when I heard that, I was like, oh man, I'm glad I cut ties when I did, because oof. Yeah,
you guys have gotta see this. Like, this is okay. So last night, I played a clip of Zod Rider on a stream talking about how James Gunn's a plant, right? All that kind of shit. That dude is just, I swear, he's just like whatever meds he needs to be on, we need to help him get there. All right. the Book of Gerbo. There we go. Ralph Sebeltister says, excited to see the downfall of the MCU and the rise of the DHEU. Oh, that's pretty funny. That's actually pretty solid. I chuckle at that, good sir. So, all right. Just listen to this, guys. If you want to hear pure, unadulterated dumb fuckery, just listen.
Joe, I really feel like if the fans all got together and could somehow get together with Henry Cavill, we could do like a class action lawsuit against WBD, and only not for money, but a class action lawsuit to get them to reverse course and to go to to get them to revert back to what Mike DeLuca and Pam Abdi wanted to do with DC before they allowed James Gunn to come in and mess with everything. So I really feel like if the fans all got together.
Sorry. So a class action lawsuit, Saggy, class action lawsuit in order to force a company to pay for something that, by the way, it's not even that company anymore. That's the beautiful thing about it, guys. This is how little this motherfucker actually knows about shit. All right. So because there was also like, this Snyder situation, we cover it tangentially here on the show, right? Whenever it pops up and stuff. And it's funny because it's like every time the goalposts move, people who don't understand how any of this stuff is going to happen, they like to just, run with it. So here's the thing, is the best way to describe it is this. Pam Abdi, Mike DeLuca probably wanted another Justice League movie because there had been talks about that, right? That they were interested in giving it one more go around with those characters. And they were interested in bringing in Henry Cavill back to do Man of Steel 2. And they did the Black Adam end credit scene, the Flash, there's potentially, I heard Syl today say that there might have been an Aquaman 2 scene that they filmed as well, which is like never been mentioned, but whatever. So imagine all that happened. Like that they wanted to bring in Charles Robin, they wanted to make the movie, all that shit. Okay, cool. Zaslav, on the other hand, had different plans because, quite frankly, he killed it 2 days later. So it's entirely possible he was either hedging his bets to see how well Black Adam would perform and to see whether or not the movie would have legs. It didn't. Clearly, the pushing of the knowledge of Henry Cavill being in the movie before it came out didn't help move the needle at all. And then additionally, he created a whole new company. A whole new company is what James Gunn and Peter Safran took over. So it doesn't matter. This is the thing. Zod here could get the Snyder fans to come together to pay for an attorney to file a class action lawsuit against Warner Brothers Discovery or Warner Brothers Picture Group to get them to do Man of Steel 2. It simply, all DC Studios has to do is just go, no, because they're the ones in control. That's where it's at. That's the thing.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. H-Bar says, does this delusional end with them harming people and Zach finally saying stop? They won't.
I'm telling you, I wouldn't put it past these people, man. That's the next step. They're going to get some weapons, body armor, and they're going to march down to freaking WBD and demand Zach to come back and do his movies.
Yeah.
I'm calling it now. They are going to, one of them is going to be crazy enough to do it.
Well, I'm asking.
Not the YouTubers. I'm referring to like somebody in their audience. They're going to mobilize, organize those people. They're going to have one of them crazy people do something crazy. And then when it happens, when somebody actually gets hurt, because the opinions get people so mad, and somebody actually takes physical action and hurts somebody, I hope you guys can live with that.
Well, yeah,
it's gonna happen.
That's the sad thing, right? Is like I believe that's going to happen as well, and I think Zod is crazy enough to do it. I do. I think Zod is no. I think Zod is. There was a thing I heard him say a while back where he was talking about how he had a woman over at his house and she wanted to watch the Batman and he wanted to watch Zack Snyder's Justice League and basically talked her into watching Zack Snyder's Justice League. And I'm like, dude, bro, you may not be interested in watching the Batman. All right. If she's bored by the Batman and she still wants to hang out with you, there is a high likelihood that you're going to get some booty. If she wants to hang out with you and watch more shit, watch a 3-hour fucking movie with you, and you're like, no, let's put on a 4-hour movie that I love, you're an idiot. You're an idiot. I'm sorry. What do you, I mean, Saggy, you're a woman, right? Like if you hang out with a guy and you're like, hey, let's watch this 3-hour movie, generally speaking, that's like a sign of that's good things could come.
Possibly, yeah.
I'm not saying he's gonna get booty that exact night, but I mean, it's like if she's bored by the movie and whatnot, it could go a certain way. Or if he, does something that is nice for her, and she decides that that's like, oh, he's a nice guy, I want to spend more time with him. He listens, he wants to do things with me and whatever. But no, when you're out there like, like let's watch a superior fucking Batman movie in Zack Snyder's Justice League. And I'm gonna tell you all about how this movie was made, everything down to that particular shot right there. That guy fucking died. It's just like that's the thing. Like that's the thing is like, I get it. You get excited. You have a woman come over. It's a rarity. But you still got to play the game.
I'm
You
just
still
saying. I think it's not even going to be the YouTube. It's just going to be one of their crazy psychotic viewers that's going to go postal. Yeah, you're right. We gotta go get gun. We're gonna go gun down gun. That's gonna be the new hashtag. Gun down gun. Make it trend, people.
Jesus Christ. I really hope they don't do that, Saggy. I really hope they don't do that at all.
I hope they don't do it, but I wouldn't be surprised if they do. Like, I'm not even gonna lie, I will not be surprised when I hear in the news some crazy Zack Snyder fan went postal and just shot up DC Studios' attempts to gun down gun. Hashtag gun down gun.
Well, there.
Damn, I'm good at coming up with hashtags, y'all.
There you go. H Rush for 5 here says to Saggy says, I heard you hate The Rock now.
Mm-hmm.
I hope other people see him for who he is.
Rock's a piece of shit.
Now, okay, I mean, like, did I ask you why you think that?
Because it took me to the Black Adam movie creation to realize, like, he did not care for the fans. He used the fans just like all these other people I call out using the fan base, because Rock made a Rock movie. That Black Adam movie was not a Black Adam movie. Like, even though we didn't expect Black Adam to do well, because nobody really, unless you're a big Shazam fan, most people don't know who the freaking crap Black Adam is. But the people who watch Shazam, if they like Shazam, they should have been like, oh, Black Adam, but like he made a movie for himself. The Rock wanted to be Superman, and because he couldn't, he wanted to do Black Adam. It was the next best thing. So yeah, the Rock is kind of a dick. He used the fans. The whole thing, oh guys, I'm hearing the fans, guys. The old regime told me no, and now there's new people, and I can get what you want. And you guys are gonna get Superman. You're gonna get Henry Cavill, and it's gonna be amazing, guys. It's gonna be the greatest movie. We're gonna save the DCU, guys, with this crappy, shitty movie with a character that not many people give a fuck about. Yeah, let me tell you how fucking that worked for you. Those numbers don't lie, Rock. You try to fucking make a power play, and you failed miserably, and you took advantage of the fucking fan base. And y'all know I don't fuck with that shit. So fuck The Rock. I've unfollowed him on Twitter. I unfollowed him on everything I followed him on. I have no interest in seeing anything he is in or he is part of, because that was my breaking point, bro. Fuck The Rock.
I understand. I get you. I think I know a lot of people out there like him, right? I get always called out for like, oh, you just hate The Rock. I don't hate The Rock. I don't. I just my take on it, quite frankly, is always the same thing, where it's like, I agree with you. He decided to make a movie that he wanted to make, and he used a moment to be able to kind of get that done. And hey, look, good on him for trying, but at the same time, it definitely was not going to go the way that he wanted, or really anybody else wanted. So, like, that's
he's trash. He's trash.
Well, I think also, I think one of the things people have to remember is that, like, it's not to say that his career is dying. I don't want to say that, because people out there will give me shit for that. His career isn't dying, but his career has, in essence, relatively peaked.
It's not even that. It's not even about that. It's just like, when you really go back to like the stuff that The Rock was in, that was like Like the whole drama with him and Vin Diesel, and now with this black guy, I'm like, dude, he's got a little bit of an ego now. Like the man thought he could rap, bro, and got on a track with a rapper, and that shit was dog shit. Like
have you heard the gay version of that?
No, I have not.
Oh,
I'm sure it's probably better than what The Rock did. Like the song was good, don't get me wrong. The beat was good. The artist who did it was good. He's a good rapper. Then you get to The Rock's hook, and I'm like, sir, please don't quit your day job because rapping is not your thing. And then and it was like weird too because he took that opportunity to like promote his friggin' alcohol, and I'm sitting there like, bro, like The Rock is just. He's like a celebrity version of a friggin' YouTuber that grifts. He's just I can't stand him.
He's like a YouTuber that's like gone into the mainstream, right?
Yeah, he's
here we go. Well, okay, yeah, You're Welcome. The last statement, I completely agree. I love You're Welcome from Moana. I do. I love Moana completely. So okay, so here's this one. It's The Rock verse but gay. And The Rock did have this taken down from Instagram, by the way. It got re-uploaded to YouTube. This is just listen.
We gon' hump them, we gon' suck their dicks off. We gon' hump them, we gon' suck their dicks off. It's about dick, it's about penis. Men are from Mars, but I'm from Venus. Put it in the butt, spick them in the shower, and take what's ours. I want to drain the main vein, prostate massage so insane until you scream, I'm so motherfucking gay. Women gonna fuck though. Masturbation, ejaculation, slinging lots of semen to the masses. Face to face and now we fornicating. Pussy only when I'm busting asses. Meat on you so thick indeed when I'm pumping hard you gonna scream, mama. Don't bring condoms to the queen, Brahma. Coming on you with a stream, mana.
Lord have mercy. That was better than the friggin' actual lyrics. Cause like it's like
my friend Derek made that. Some black guy on YouTube. He made that.
That's hilarious. It's just so friggin' he's just annoying. That Black Adam shit just made me realize, yeah, he don't give a shit about the fans. He wanted to use them, and it's hilarious because they still didn't show up.
Well, what's funny though about that as well, that little clip is Nick Fuentes played that on stream and reacted to that on stream.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, it's crazy, dude. It's crazy. Ralph Sebeltis here says The Rock saved the XFL. I mean, you can't sit there and say that the guy like doesn't, he's business. He's business. He's corporate. That's all it is. He's corporate. But when we talk about movies, when we're talking about building up a universe, like that's the whole thing though. His ambition, right? Like Scott Derrickson, the director of Doctor Strange the other day, tweeted out, you can't sacrifice quality for ambition. And that was clearly a dig at Kevin Feige. Let's be fair. But when we apply that same concept to The Rock, you can't sacrifice quality for ambition. It makes all the sense in the world. It really does. Makes all the sense in the world. So, H Pressure 2 Bones, thank you, buddy. It says, how long till he destroys his own career? Now, he's protected, man. Like, the only way The Rock would ever truly destroy his own career would probably be if, like, they caught him with, like, a minor or something, And that would never happen. That's what I mean by that. And that's not me trying to sit there and go, whatever with that. I mean that literally, like, they would have to.
I sometimes forget that your chat is full of some interesting people. I love that comment there. Saggy hates The Rock, defends menace to society. How is Ezra a menace to society? Please elaborate that. I find that funny when people say absurd shit like that. It's like, if you think that that's being a menace to society, oh, honey, you need to get out more and touch some grass. And also, me hating Rock is just my personal opinion. I'm not sitting there telling you guys to hate The Rock. I don't know why people get triggered every time I have an opinion about something that disagrees with them.
Because it's the internet.
I know it's the internet, but it's like, god damn, some of y'all need to I'm starting to wonder if y'all gonna go postal someday because you got so triggered over fucking somebody having a different opinion. So what, I don't like The Rock. Deal with it. I didn't know that me not liking The Rock affects your mental health or something. Like, relax. Go read a book or something. Jesus Christ.
There you go. I mean,
get laid, bro. Get laid or something. Go fucking touch a vagina. Jesus. Fucking opinions. Opinions are like assholes. Everyone has one. And sometimes shit comes out of it. Sometimes shit comes out of my mouth. Deal with it. Jesus.
There you go. I mean, the Ezra thing is definitely like, I personally want to put the Ezra thing to bed. If Ezra's getting help, then that's all we need to focus on. Really, it's like if that's what's happening.
Oh, it doesn't matter. They're a menace. They need to be in jail or killed, apparently, because I swear to God, every time I'm like somewhere and people bring up Ezra, I'm like, what do you want? Do you want to just execute Ezra? Can you just be honest and just say you want the dude dead? Because like, what do you expect to happen? The dude got arrested. They paid a fine. They got arrested again. They paid a fine, and it's because it's petty crimes. Like, I could see if they actually like murdered someone or like beat somebody up and put them into like a hospital or something and beat them till they're almost dead. But like, you guys over exaggerate and don't understand what the difference is between something that's like legit a serious felony. And yeah, they got convicted of that robbery shit. But like, oh my God, they stole alcohol. How dare they? Like, get over it.
Well, I mean, there is, I see your point, but we can also acknowledge that like it wasn't just the alcohol theft, it was also breaking and entering and that kind of stuff. There's other elements to it, but I see your point.
I've broken and entered my friend's home before and took something and they didn't press charges. Oh no, but I'm still a criminal. Get over it. Like, it's not that deep.
Well, I mean, I've done the same thing. Well, right, I was with someone who did the same thing. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I was a kid though, and I mean, this is a grown adult. Like, I get the thing, and nobody is ever saying it was okay. But like, I feel like people want Ezra to just die, and it's like that's the only thing I can think of. Like, oh, Ezra's such a menace to society. Well, then maybe they should just get executed, right? Because that makes sense.
I mean, I hope not. I think, there are people who do not like. Who definitely do not like Ezra for a multitude of reasons, and quite frankly, I think it's not the end of the world if Ezra, gets a redemption arc. Because, like I said, a lot of people out there like redemption arcs. They like very much.
Oh, they don't want a redemption arc. They want like justice for all the heinous crimes committed. Like, Jesus Christ, relax.
Well, I mean, I think it would have been very interesting if Ezra would have gotten into a shootout with the KKK.
Right. He literally choke slammed a chick. How is she defending him? Because I watched that video in detail, frame by frame, and he actually didn't choke her. He actually grabbed her friggin' she's wearing a turtleneck. He actually grabbed her turtleneck. It just looked like he grabbed her throat. But like, again, I don't expect people who are literally wanting someone to like be damned for all eternity to like actually do research on anything and just stop at the headlines. So I mean, it's all good. I get it. I expect too much from certain people on the internet. That's my problem.
Do you ever think like Ezra Miller might pull a Wayne Brady and just go, is Ezra Miller gonna have to choke a bitch?
Listen, sometimes I read your chat and I'm like, I don't blame Ezra because sometimes I want to choke y'all out. So I get it. I can relate. Some of y'all need some choking.
I mean, I like to wait. No, hold on.
Listen, some men pay for that. So I mean, I'll do it for free.
Some men do. That is very true.
Yeah, I'll do it for free if y'all really want. I'll just do it for free.
So if you travel to Boston, free chokes. Right. Maybe not free. You got to pay for it. Right? You got to get bubble tea.
We've all been adults made best friends with 12-year-olds. No, that's not what happened. Again, tell me you don't do research without telling me you do research. The 12-year-old, they were friends with the whole family. Mother, father, siblings, and then the 12-year-old. That's where that relationship was. But again, y'all stop at the headlines, don't do your research, and that's why cancel culture still exists. So congratulations, guys.
All right. That whole thing is crazy. I like that whole thing is nuts.
I actually can answer that question. I would say yes, he definitely does enjoy being choked.
You think Ezra enjoys being choked?
No, Zod enjoys being choked.
Oh, Zod enjoys being choked. I mean, like, congratulations. I don't know how to fucking answer that, to be honest. Like, Ezra, Zod likes to be choked. I mean, cool. That's good for Zod. I mean, just be very careful. It
I
can
mean,
be.
I also like to be choked, so maybe that's why I don't really care about the choking thing, because I like a good choking. Listen, I yell at men, like, if you don't choke me hard enough, I'll yell at you, like, what are you doing? What are you, a bitch? Like, choke me like you mean that shit. I want to black out, motherfucker. I want my eyes rolling back of my head. Like, some men are afraid to do it. Oh, some men are afraid to choke women, and like, because obviously, like, it makes them feel uncomfortable, and I get it. But like, if a woman's saying, "Yo, do that," don't be a pussy. You're getting consent. Take advantage. Choke a bitch.
I think at that point you pull out your phone and you just get verbal consent on audio, video. Be like, look, if I accidentally kill you, I don't want to go to jail. If I accidentally choke you to the point of passing out, I do not want to go to jail. That's all I want. That's all I got. It's like all I got to say on that one.
All I know is some of you men, when a woman says harder, like, stop being pussies.
Yeah, settle down, Cheryl from Archer. I know, right? I was gonna make the joke on that, or no, Pam. It's more like Pam. I think in some cases, well, Cheryl too, but a little bit of Pam on there. It's like, Saggy watched that Ezra Miller video, and like she's like, he could drown a toddler in my panties.
I mean, I watched that video, and I made a short, but I took it down because I was like, oh, that the optics on that did not look good. But I made a video short where it says, when you're a submissive and you meet Ezra Miller, and it was a video of me getting choked.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, I think I didn't want to trigger people with that one, so I took it down. I was like, it probably wasn't, like, it was funny. Some people thought it was funny, but I was like, I think I might trigger some people with that one, because like the choke looked really real.
Yeah, you gotta watch out on that one a little bit. There are people out there that they don't quite understand. They don't quite understand all that stuff. Oh wow. Hayden Panettiere's younger brother died. 28 years old. Cause of death is unknown. TMZ's reporting foul play is not suspected.
At least it wasn't foul play, but that's so sad.
He was 28, man.
No, man, people be dying at the weirdest ages.
Yeah, a lot of people have been dying recently.
Right. It's like, what the hell is going on? A lot of people been dropping way too young, just out of nowhere, too. It's just like, what is going on? I thought this year was going to be great, but it started off like friggin'
Protect
everybody.
Harrison Ford at all costs.
Oh, Harrison Ford. I'm going to get him next.
Like, to choke you?
Yeah. He's got that whip. Indiana Jones, bitch. He's got a
all-
whip. We can do kinky shit with that thing.
Like, who needs a sex swing? You got a whip and I got a neck.
Right? I'll be your boulder falling down from the thing. You run from me, bitch. Let's go.
Oh, my God.
Raiders of the Lost Ark, baby.
Oh. You can open my Ark of the Covenant.
Yeah. Whip me,
But
daddy.
careful what comes out. It ain't dust.
Whip me, daddy.
Skaboosh. Let's see. Command Unit here says, just started watching this. Did you watch Quantumania? I'm seeing Quantumania on Thursday.
I'm gonna get ice cream. You keep talking about Quantum later.
All right. Well, I'm actually gonna end this in just a couple minutes.
Okay,
Because it's almost midnight. So
if I didn't get ice cream or something to eat.
yeah, you got to get chocolate pie or ice cream or something like that, right? That's how you know it's been a Saggy appearance. But no, I haven't seen Quantumania yet. I'm gonna go see it this week. Looking forward to it though. Let's see. Grateful Gamer here says Bruce Willis is a victim of elder abuse. I'm not necessarily like disagreeing with you on that. Clearly somebody was like putting Bruce Willis into these movies, right? Like I'm going to look this up real quick. Like, what exactly, he was, cause he's 67 years old. Wow. He was born in Germany. I didn't know that, let's see here. Okay. Let me try to find his wiki. There we go. There's his Wikipedia. All right.
Whoa.
I do love
Who fucking does that, dude?
who does
Like,
what?
I went to get ice cream, and we got these little Twix ice cream bars. So I go to get some ice cream, and the box is empty. I'm like, who the fuck leaves a empty box of ice cream still in the fucking freezer, bro? But then I found. Oh, did you know that they're coming out with new Girl Scout cookies, a new flavor?
No, I did not.
It is French toast inspired cookies.
I'm sorry, it's what?
French toast inspired cookies.
Oh, geez.
They're
French
fucking
toast inspired cookies. That's a little bit crazy.
So it's French toast inspired cookies dipped in delicious icing, which is literally what it says in the box, and it literally is shaped like a piece of toast. It's got the vanilla frosting on the back, and it tastes just like French toast with syrup on it. Real good.
Well, I mean, that's definitely I just can't, I just don't eat that shit. Like, that's just not what I do.
You can have one and not die.
No, that's true. I could have more than one and not die even on that front as well. I think in part of it is just like I just, I'm just chunky. I feel fluffy after I eat all that shit. But anyway, here's the Bruce Willis filmography, right? Because I mean, if you come down here, like the bottom of his stuff, and I've seen most of these movies. Well, these up to the last couple of years, right? But then you get here to like, look at all these right here, direct to videos. See all these direct to videos? Look at this.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, fuck, dude. Like, when was the last time he? Well, okay, so his first real one here kind of was the assassination of a high school president, which is actually really good. I've actually seen this. It's actually really good. Bruce Willis plays a high school president or the high school principal, and he's pretty good on that one. Let's see here. He was in, because what was it? A Good Day to Die Hard, John McClane, G.I. Joe Retaliation, General Joseph Colton, Red 2. That was his last, really good year. Then you got Sin City, A Dane to Kill For, right? Came back for that. And then he's in this one called The Prince with Jason Patrick, Bruce Willis, John Cusack. All right. And then literally like almost everything else has been direct to video. Split. He was in Split. That one, or no, it was not Split. It was Glass. That was like
I was just gonna yell because I was like, it was not Split.
Yeah, it was not Split. He has a cameo in Split, but he was in like Death Wish. I hear, but that was really good. But it's like a couple. Which one?
My cookie fell on the floor.
Okay, that's good. What is this one here? Yeah, Detective Night, Detective James Knight. What are these movies here? Right? So Detective Night, also simply known as Night, it's a 2022 action film directed by Edward John Drake. It's serving as a first installment of the Detective Night trilogy. It stars Bruce Willis, Lachlan Monroe, and Jimmy Lee Lewis. Lachlan Monroe, like that's just fucking funny. All right, so it was look at this here. It just came out November 29th. This is the first movie, right? It hit DVD and Blu-ray November 29th, and the other ones are already out. Like, I don't want to read the whole synopsis of it, but it's like...
Poor Bruce Willis, by the way.
What?
Support Bruce Willis, by the way.
I know, man. I know. So you've got this one, okay, and then you've got, look, they did Redemption and Independence. Let's see. So Detective Night Redemption is a 2022 American Christmas action film. What the fuck? Produced. Bruce Willis is not in this. He can't be in this movie for very long, can he?
If not, then that's very clickbaity.
I mean, yeah, that's the thing with this stuff here. So, okay, so the premise of this one is, after the events of Rogue, Detective James Knight is in prison. During the Christmas season, Knight gets caught up in the middle of a jailbreak led by a violent fanatic named Ricky Conlon, a.k.a. the Christmas Bomber, and his Santa Claus disciples. He He strikes a deal to take out the terrorists in exchange for his reinstatement. With the bomber's henchmen terrorizing the city, Knight must seek justice. I kind of actually want to see that there. Okay. So they did that, and then they did 2023. So the premise of Detective Knight Independence is after the events of Redemption, Detective James Knight tries to stop a rogue vigilante and an out-of-control EMT vehicle from putting the city in danger on Independence Day. The detective's race against time also involves saving his own home from a suspected explosion.
I almost fell asleep with you reading the synopsis.
I just, you know what? I kind of want to see these. I don't know what it is. Oh, they got Dina Meyer in this one. All right. Fucking, she was in, Dizzy in, Starship Troopers.
Cool.
All I'm saying is like, just, you know.
Listen, I was nodding off when you were reading the synopsis, so I do not have any hope in this project.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, like they just put him in these movies and whatnot. I gotta check this out. Anthony here says they shot him all back to back. Obviously, they shot him all back to back, but it's like, you know, like it's just like by the end of his, but the whole thing there is like people were saying, but like he wasn't even like in these movies. It was just like, you know, people were feeding him lines because of the you know, the mental decline and stuff. But I guess they were just doing movies to have a retirement. Which is the way I kind of question that because I'm like, doesn't he have enough money to have a retirement?
Yeah,
to like not sell out to these? I don't know. He did how many? God damn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. He did 12 direct to DVD movies in 2022. And it looks like his last movie is going to be Assassin. So all right. You know what? It's like, look, Nick Cage does a bunch of these movies as well. You know what I mean? And that led to a renaissance. But I mean, Bruce has the dementia thing going on, so that sucks.
Oh, I forgot. I saw something I forgot to even address it real quick. I'm not going to go into the whole Ezra thing again, but I will just say this. If people out there sit there and say that somebody needs to get canceled because other people have been canceled for less, then you're literally a hypocrite. That's a hypocritical thing to say. You can't be like, that person should get canceled because other people got canceled for less. It's like, okay, so are you for cancel culture or not? I just want to say that because I saw something comment and I forgot to address it because I was too busy talking about how much I enjoy getting choked by a big, strong man with big, burly hands. What?
I don't know.
Don't kink shame me. I feel like
I'm not doing that. I'm merely just asking myself about my own life choices.
What do you mean? I still haven't seen your search history.
My search history is fine. It's Eric D. July's search history you should be really concerned about.
No, I'm more concerned about yours. I'm just saying.
Wait, H-Bart's you. Oh, yeah, sorry. All right, H-Bart's for 5, thank you. Says, I missed this one. I'm sorry, buddy. Listen here, Saggy. We'll watch Father Stew, starring Boston's greatest star, Mark Wahlberg, and get some Dunkin'. You want to get some Dunkies with H-Bots?
Why Bostonians? I mean, we like Dunkies because that's pretty much the most we have, but we like Starbucks. Although the matcha latte at Dunkin' Donuts is pretty good. I can mess up an entire cup of Dunkin' Donuts matcha latte. And bubble tea. But I'm on my bubble tea thing right now. Shut the hell up. Don't you dare say it.
I'm not saying anything.
I will stab you in your leg.
I'm not saying anything. God damn.
No,
God.
About
bubble tea?
Don't you do it.
I wasn't gonna do it. I wasn't gonna remind you that there's viscosities that have come. Yeah. I wasn't gonna do it, but you brought it up. You're the one bringing up the cum discussion. Okay.
No, like because I know you, and I know
you're just like I get my bubble. Don't say anything about bubble tea. I wasn't going to. Then like whatever, you know. And now you're just like fucking cum.
You've programmed me like this. This is what it is.
This is like a Pavlov's dog response.
Matt groomed me. Matt's grooming a grown ass adult that's close to his age. Groomer.
Yeah, that's there we go. I mean, if anything, I guess that's okay.
Wait, can
Right.
you groom an adult?
I mean, I think you can groom anybody if you try hard enough.
I always thought grooming was always associated to minors, but I wasn't sure because I remember somebody saying something about an adult being groomed. And the first thing I thought was like, how the fuck do you groom an adult? And I was like, maybe that's a thing, and we just didn't realize you could also groom an adult. But I don't know. I'm learning things about the internet that I never knew I needed.
I mean, yeah, there's other terminology for it, I think, right? Like, what's a synonym for grooming, I guess, right? Let me ask. Synonym for grooming. Prepare, prime, make ready. Ready, condition, tailor, coach, train, instruct, tutor, drill, teach, educate, school.
So you can technically groom an adult then, if that's like the definition.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So what's his name? Ralph's double tits. I'm going to groom you for Ezra.
Prepare thy anus.
Prepare thy butt cheeks for the grooming.
Clapping. The clapping of the cheeks shall happen.
Benson's is also going to get groomed.
There's a pastor who tries to groom people every Sunday. I mean, by looking at the definition of the term, Benson is not necessarily wrong. However, the implication of why Benson's saying that
is wrong.
Is something I don't agree with. But all right, guys. Command unit here says, remember to take your 40K pill. That's true. He did bring this up here. We'll watch this. It's short. It's a minute 30, and then we'll end it because I do got to get to bed. But
I do too, but I do feel like we're being command unit. Stop grooming us to watch this stuff.
So yeah. Command unit's really just Henry Cavill in this. He's like, this is how I'm gonna do you guys.
I think that's true. I think he really is low-key Henry Cavill, and he set his settings so the currency comes up as a different country, so it tricks us into not think it's Henry Cavill. We're being groomed by Henry Cavill. I'm down.
You down like the clown.
As long as I get choked.
Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ, Saggy. You've got shoelaces and a doorknob. Okay, like just go to
It's
town.
not the same. It needs to be human.
You're telling me you can't just like take a belt, wrap it over a fucking door, and then like just like angle yourself at like the TV
careful,
and like
careful,
flick your bean while you're doing it.
Oh my god!
I'm just saying, it's like,
the haters are gonna clip that and be like, "Look,
what? I'm just
jokes about suicide."
I know it's about autoerotic asphyxiation.
No, it's not the same. It needs to be human hands. I need to feel the warmth or coldness of a hand.
The warmth or coldness of a hand.
Yeah, because sometimes they're cold. They can't be hot all the time. Sometimes they're cold.
You're like, give me your cold, clammy hand grasps around my trachea. It's the only way I can finish. That's fucking weird. That is weird. That is super weird. That you're like, give me cold.
See, you know what's weird is I think choking is not a big deal as far as if it's consensual in bed, right? But like the self-choking thing, that shit's weird to me. Because that's like you're not involving somebody else, and that's weird to me. That's like dangerous too, because at least with somebody else they can kind of control. There's some kind of control there. There's safe words or there's a tap you can do to let the partner know it's too much. But like when you do it yourself, you're kind of fucked.
Well, just be very careful.
My safe word is Batman. It is actually my safety word is Batman. That's not a joke. That's like true.
So no role playing on that front. Like I'm Batman. I didn't say stop, but no role playing. Anyway, all right. Anyway, I don't want to get into that conversation. That goes too far because very awkward, very quick. All right, command unit 40K pill time.
This is Dragos. Gene Stealer infestation has been neutralized. No friendly casualties to report.
Excellent work, Brother Dragos. You have made the Emperor proud this day. I'm sending you the coordinates for your extraction now. Let's get you home. Brother, I'm monitoring your vitals and your blood pressure is unusually high. Is something wrong?
Well, no, just this whole operation went rather well, don't you think?
Yes, you performed your duties quite admirably indeed.
Yeah, it's just, can you scan the array for life signs?
There's nobody here but you and your fellow Astartes, Dragos. Whatever is the matter?
It must be Necrons then. Necrons, come to kill us all!
Brother, there are no traces of Necron activity on this planet. Get a hold of yourself.
I'm sorry, Command, it's just... In all my years of deployment, I have not once had a mission go this well. No casualties, no surprise unseen enemy emerging in the third act. It all seems too good to be true.
Well, perhaps you can discuss your misgivings with your chaplain when you arrive back
How
at...
are things over there? Have there been any calamitous disasters?
No, Brother Dragos, please, you're putting us all on edge.
Tell me the truth, Emperor, damn you. Something's gone wrong, hasn't it?
No! Brother, calm yourself. I have no idea what you're talking about. I mean, if you must know, the air conditioning crapped out about an hour ago, but I hardly think that's the stuff of...
Air conditioning? Emperor, preserve our soul.
Okay.
Fuck.
I can honestly tell you, I have literally zero idea what the fuck that was, but thank you. Also, real quick here, Command Unit did say about the question about him being Henry Cavill. He says, well, he's like, oh no, that's the wrong one. I started. He goes, okay. Does that mean, he goes, I mean, Gal Gadot lives here. Yeah.
Command Unit, thank you for grooming us for the night. I appreciate the grooming.
Lots of grooming. All right. Thank you for coming by, everybody. Have yourself a fantastic night. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace the fuck out.